Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to JeepAthings/Reviews, official channel at JeepThings8875. You can tell what the video is over today. That's right, Apple Watch Series 10. Now, I had an Apple Watch Series 8, so I'm just wanting to see, as the title says, how good is this battery? I know it's going to be pretty darn good. The advertised battery life on this watch is 18 hours. On my Apple Watch Series 8, it was 18 hours. And I usually got that, well, I got more than that on a normal use day out of my Apple Watch Series 8. So let's take a look at it. This is a 46 millimeter Series 10. My Apple Watch Series 8 was 45 millimeter. Now this band did not come with this. It came with, we'll just kind of put it in place. I think they call this color, it's a silicone strap, blue jean. And then I had purchased, which I really liked it, it matches the color of the watch. It is got it off TikTok shop. There you go. It came in a decently packaged, I think it was 28 bucks. Really liked the look of it. It matched it. And but this isn't about the band, and it bends at the attachment to make it more comfortable. So what we're going to be doing here, now I'm not going to go over a lot of the specifications of the 10. You can go and find people, and most people compare them to the Ultra 2. Reason being is, just to give you a couple of tidbits about this, the screen, the 46 millimeter screen, is actually larger than the 49 millimeter Apple Watch Ultra 2 because it kind of wraps around the side here. So technically, they say it's bigger. Another thing this has, if you want to say over the Ultra 2, is the fact that you can put it, and I'll try to get it where it's not glaring. You can tilt it at an angle and see it better. And you actually can. Don't know how well my camera's picking it up, but you actually can. So the Ultra 2 has 36 hours projected battery life. This is 18, so the Ultra 2 is double the battery life. And I was waffling between the two, and we'll get more into detail on this in this area here. The Ultra 2 is always titanium, always sapphire crystal, always a cellular plan, and it has 2 GPS systems, if I'm not mistaken, that if you're out hiking, running, in my case, it would be hiking, to where this has 1 GPS signal it picks up. I really don't know what my Apple Watch Series 8 had. I never had trouble picking up signal if I did use it for a hiking purpose. But a couple things. This has a bigger viewing screen than the Ultra 2. It has 2 speakers on the side. And I think the Ultra 2 does also. But one thing they say with this, and I just got this watch yesterday, so I haven't even had a full day of use with this watch. One of the things they say is if you take a call, and of course you've got the hand gestures. I have been using that to answer calls, to hang up calls, text message, to look. But if you take a phone call on this, it's supposed to drown out the outside noise. So if you've got people talking, if you have, if you're in a public place, if you, and we'll take a look at the back. If there's other noises in the background and you're using this to take a phone call, then it will supposed to mute out the back, so the person you're talking to just hears you. Okay, and there may be a couple other things that this has that the Ultra doesn't. I purchased the 46 millimeter aluminum. This watch comes in aluminum, which is this, and all my other Apple Watches were black. I thought I want to go with silver this time. Kind of like silver, different change pace. Like I said, got a band to match. But it comes in aluminum. This was $529 at Verizon. It is on the sale plan. Comes in stainless steel, which is a little more expensive. I can't tell you the exact price of that. Or you can get this in titanium with sapphire crystal. Once you do that, it's only $100 less than the Ultra 2. So, with all that being said, oh, and the other thing is this is supposed to be the thinnest watch. We'll put it on the edge here. It's supposed to be the thinnest, well, it actually is the thinnest watch Apple has came out with. So what I want to do is, as I said before, you can find other videos comparing this to the Ultra 2. And I will tell you, especially with the silicone band, you kind of have to look down to make sure it's still on your wrist. It truly is ultra light and comfortable. And my Series 8 was too, but I usually had a band something like this. So, and this band is comfortable, but we're just wanting to check the battery life. Now, I had my Apple Watch Series 8 for a while, and here's what we're going to do. It's Sunday afternoon, tomorrow morning, and I have the same routine. I get up, put my watch on the charger, I take a shower, I get ready, and it's charged by the time I go to work. So let's cover the perimeters. On my Apple Watches, I have the heart rate turned on, the ECG, I have sleep app turned on. I basically have everything in the health app turned on. So my typical day is I go to work, and I guarantee you tomorrow at work, I will get 3 phone calls to 6 phone calls, and I will get anywhere between minimum of 15 to 20 text messages to a max of 40 plus. That's every day. That's where it uses the battery. So what we're going to do is wear it to work with the always on display turned off. One other perimeter, I always have, we're going to set the brightness to 100%. The Apple Watch Series 8 had 1,000 nits of brightness. This has 2,000, and the Ultra has 3. My Series 8, they say this really helps out when you're in bright, direct sunlight. My Series 8, I can see fine in sunlight, so this one being double that ought to be even better. And the Ultra, with even more than this, ought to be better, but I've never had an issue with the sunlight seeing the screen. But tomorrow, we're going to use it with everything on, just as I normally would. Screen off. The always on display will be turned off, except when I raise my wrist to take a phone call. And I do use this to take phone calls at work 80% of the time. Use it on 95% of the text messages. So that's what we're going to do. And then when I get home, I'm home about an hour, then I go to the gym, and I use the Apple Watch for all my fitness at the gym. So we're going to see how it does. Day 2, same process. Just roll it over, except we're going to leave the always display on. Day 3, I'm going to, and this will be the real zapper, I think. You know, I'm going to put one of the screen faces will be find my vehicle, my parked vehicle. And I've accidentally hit that before at work and just left it running. So that compass or the GPS is going to constantly be trying to find my vehicle. We're going to let that run for 8 hours on day 3 and then see how the battery is. Now, the other thing is it's supposed to be the fastest charging Apple Watch. From dead, no juice at all, to 80% takes 30 minutes. 15 minutes is 8 hours, I believe. And it'll send you a reminder if you do use the sleep apps, such as I do. Supposedly, if I ever forget to charge or let the juice run down on it, it will tell me, hey, your bedtime is this. Supposedly, you can put it on charger for 8 minutes and it'll get you through a full night's sleep. I've never had to use it yet, but we'll see. So that's the deal. It starts tomorrow. I'm not going to go through the whole day. We've already spent 10 minutes on here. And thank you for checking in and listening to me gab. But that's the schedule. Put it on the charger in the morning, let it charge up, and we'll see how it does. We'll check back in with you tomorrow. One other thing, I'm back. It's still Sunday afternoon. If you are worried about battery life, and this could be on the Ultra 2, which has double the battery. If you're out hiking or whatever for a few days, I did purchase this either off Amazon, TikTok Shop. I have used this, and it is simply it's got a little, put it on your backpack, put it in your pocket, put it wherever. Simply lay your Apple Watch on that. It's USB-C rechargeable. There's a button here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There you see. This is a 1,000 milliamp battery. It's supposed to charge your Apple Watch 2 times. Now my Series 8, if it was down to say 30%, it would charge it, and and it'll turn off if I don't use it. Out of the 4 bars, it would be down to either 2, and then the next time I charge it, it would drop to 1 immediately, or it would be on 1. So on my Series 8, once again, if I'm at 30% charged full, I would say this would charge the Series 8 probably 1.5 to 1 3/4 times. I am currently looking on Amazon. They've got a couple that's 2,000 milliamp, double this, that I may purchase just to take. And this will also charge your AirPod 2 Pros if you have those. But just food for thought. If you're ever worried about battery life being off grid, of course you may have other charging systems to do that. But that's just a general idea. Now, we will see you in the morning. All right, good morning, everyone. I have the watch face. It charged to 99%, but I've got to head out for work, so we're going to go with 99%. One thing I forgot to mention yesterday, if it'll zoom in, it does come with a fast charger. We'll unplug that. And your traditional style is like the plastic. This is kind of the rope, if you will. But nevertheless, look at the upper left-hand corner, 99%. It is 5:20. We're heading out, so let's see how it does. All right, everyone, good afternoon. You can see I swapped out bands. I'm going to be going to the gym here, so I put on my silicone. This is actually the band that came with it. Apple band, super soft. They call this Blue Jean Edition. That kind of gives you an idea of what the watch looks like on this band. Nevertheless, it is, what is it, 257. We're at 71% battery life. So what does that tell us? We left the house at 5:20 this morning. The battery was at 99%. So first day impressions of using this watch. And of course I had it on yesterday, but I just laid around the house. It wasn't put to use today. And I went back to my phone and looked. I had received 8 phone calls, which I took all on the Apple Watch. Each call lasted a couple minutes. I received 39 text messages today. And I keep saying text messages because I think it's called haptic. That's the vibration you get that you can set to let you know. And there's a good angle. There's how you can see at an angle. That's supposed to be the other thing about the Series 10 is you can kind of look down at an angle. Nevertheless, I've got the haptic, if I'm not mispronouncing that vibrates to let you know you're getting a notification. So that's turned on. The screen is on 100% brightness, and I do have one of the notifications. I do have the sound on for text messages. It'll give a certain tone to let me know a text message. Once again, all of the health, the heart, everything's turned on this phone. I can tell you this with the Apple Watch Series 8, because I get home consistently at the same time, it's usually running about 53 to 56%. And we're at 71. So that'll give you the battery life difference. Even though they're both rated at 18 hours, the Series 8 went over, and I got a feeling this is going to go over too. So what we're going to do, going to go to the gym, use the health app for weightlifting, elliptical, treadmill, come back this evening and see where we're setting. So we'll see y'all here in a little bit. Okay, we're going to do the last check-in of the evening. It's 8:28. We started at 5:20 this morning, so we're over 15 hours. Apple says 18 hours, and all my Apple Watches had a Series 4, 8, and now the Series 10. So we're at 15, almost 15 hours and 10 minutes, and we are still at 55%. So at that ratio, you're going to get 30 hours of use out of it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the old double, start our smart stack. And what I'm trying to do is exercise. You can see the yellow in the middle, 57 minutes of exercise today. Went to the gym, 57 minutes. I used the watch for, we'll go ahead and close it out. We used the watch for my exercise activity, so I did use it for that. So tomorrow, it did excellent today. So, and just to give you a general reference, as I stated earlier, 55% is what my Apple Watch Series 8 would be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So totally pleased with the battery life so far. Tomorrow morning, we are going to get her charged up, and we're going to leave the display on always on to see how the battery is affected. Same screen, same brightness level, same thing I've already explained today, maximum brightness, all the health features on. Tomorrow is going to be always on display, and we'll see how it holds up then. We will see you all in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Here we go. Brightness display is always on 100%. It is 5:17, 5:18, same time as yesterday morning. Let's see how the battery does with the always on display turned on. Check in after work. All right, we are at our afternoon check-in with the always on feature turned on today. Do a quick recap, and just got in from work this morning. You'll notice at the end of that last segment, my voice kind of went haywire, but I had to go to work. So we let it be. So hopefully my voice doesn't start acting up on this segment. Quick recap, yesterday, and it's the same time, approximately 9.5 hours that the watch has been being used. The difference between today and yesterday is that we do have the always on, and you can kind of see how you can see this watch at an angle. And I try to do that every time, but now that the always on display is on, we got her going. So here's what we got. Yesterday at this time, I had 8 phone calls. Today, I had 11 phone calls. Yesterday, I had 39 texts. Today, I had 34. So everything's approximately the same. And we are at 44%. Yesterday, we were at 72%. Big difference with the always on display turned on. And as I keep saying every segment, the haptic is turned 100%, the brightness 100%, all the health features, everything are turned on. The volume, the notifications for text messages turned on, maximum volume. So everything is turned to max, 44%. We will check back in at 8:30, just like we did last night, and see where we're at. But I can tell you last night at 8:30, I was still at 55%, and we're already at 44. That's with the always on display. So at this rate, with the always on display on, 18-hour battery life, or at 9.5, it would be close to that. So there you have it. We will check back in at 8:30, see how we're doing. Check in with a bit. All right, everyone. We are at the 15-hour check mark. Just a quick refresh. Last night when we were doing the always display turned off, we were at 55%. So let's take a look. Always on display. We are at 18%. It's starting to get into the red. So let's take a look. Oh, let's get it to refresh. There we go. Get the glare off. And 57-minute exercise, same as yesterday. We'll go ahead and get this reset back. So there you have it. Big difference, and we just dropped 17%. Always display on, 100% everything, light, haptic, everything is set to max. So
there you have it. Last night at 15 hours, it was at 55%. Tonight it is at 17%. So here's what we'll do. We're going to come back and I'll give you my final thoughts on the battery life on the Apple Series 10. We'll see you here in a minute.
All right, let me get settled in here. Got the camera all focused. I think it's right to where you can actually see the watch. This is it, my final thoughts on the Apple Watch Series 10 as far as specifically this video has been over the battery life. Now, I'm going to try to get to where you can see the profile, the Apple Watch Series 10. This is the 46 millimeter. And you'll notice I have a different watch face on here today. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second because I've had the always on display on today. That's the new, and it's upside down to you, but I'm going to flip the camera around here in a second. This is their new Flux, F-L-U-X face for the Series 10. And when you watch other videos on this, they compare this to the Ultra 2. This is the 46 millimeter. That's the latest models they have out. And they've been out a little while now. But anyhow, I really have enjoyed, and I am enjoying wearing this watch. Super, put my hand up right there. It's super, it's the thinnest watch Apple has ever made. Love the watch. Now let's get to, and if you've made it this far, there goes my voice again, if you remember back from a couple clips ago. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the subscriptions I had. I'm getting closer to the goal number. I sure appreciate each and every one of y'all checking in, the comments, the shares, the likes. I truly enjoy doing this, and hopefully this helps you if you're wondering about the battery life. Here we go. That's what the video's been about. The Ultra 2, 36-hour battery life. The Ultra 2 is an always-on display all the time. This, you can set it to where it's always on, or as you saw in earlier in the video, that you can have it to where it is not always on. 36 hours on the Ultra 2. On this one, it's 18 hours, and we have seen how that has held up as far as the battery life. They say you can put it in low power mode and get 36 hours. Personally, I don't like doing that. That shuts down a lot of your features. It'll tell you the time, but it won't check your heart rate. It shuts off a lot of features. So I do not go to low power mode. One thing I do want to say, and then we'll close this out, and show you the face. I'm going to flip the camera around and just tell you about this particular watch face and always on display. There we go. Get a little closer look. This is supposed to be the fastest charging Apple Watch. And I can tell you this, last night when I was doing the always on and the face, which was a different watch face as you saw, I was down to 17% and it was about 8:30, 8:40 in the evening. And I thought, because I wear this to bed to track my sleep. This also does sleep apnea tracking. You have to wear it for a month, I believe, and then you'll get a report telling you whether you have sleep apnea or not. So, but I wear it to bed. So it was down to 17%. By the time I got done with that clip, it was down to 16%. I thought I'm going to put this on the charger that was supplied with the watch and charge it up a little bit before I go to bed. Well, I sat down in my chair and I forgot. So then I remembered before I went to bed, and I think it was down to 16% by then because I didn't put it immediately on the charger. I put it on the charger at 16%. Apple says 0% to 80% in 30 minutes. The Ultra 2, it takes an hour. So it's got a bigger battery, so it takes twice as long to charge. I can tell you this, at 16%, I put it on the charger 20 minutes before I went to bed. 25 would be a stretch. 99%. Charge that fast. So you get half the battery life, but it charges twice as fast compared to the Ultra 2. And then you can see the slim design. I like big watches. So the Ultra 2 would be right down my alley, but this one was half the price or close to it. Man, is it comfortable. I hope you could tell how thinnest watch they make. So, excuse me, here's what we're going to do to close out. My thoughts on it, love the watch. And one of the things, and this is, before we close out, one of the things I'm going to try is I showed you this earlier. This is a 1000 milliamp, cheapest one I could find. And let's see. I talked about this earlier. I can't ever find the button. There we go. I talked about this earlier in the video. It's got the little loop to where you can put it on the backpack, on your belt loop, whatnot. So my next video I'm going to do here in the next couple days is put the watch on that to see how fast it charges. I've told you I did this with my Series 8. It'll charge it full. And then see there's four little lights. It'll go down to 2. When I put it back on, it'll drop to 1 pretty quick. So I'm looking at getting a 2,000 milliamp. But with this, I've had it for a while, 1,000 milliamp, cheapest one I can find. We're going to see how well it charges the Apple Watch. Anyways, here's the last thing I want to say. We're going to flip the camera around. This is the Flux watch face. And you can see it's in the always on. There, it just shut off. We're going to try to get it where there's not as much glare this time. And you can see the little bar going up for the seconds. Here's the thing. With this watch face, you can see it's 5:01 p.m. The other times when I do it at midday, if you will, I did a little quick clip in the morning before I went to work, then when I got home, and then I would do one later in the evening. And we're going to move in here to where I've got my little notes. And we'll brighten it back up. And this particular face has different colors. I just went with the gray and black because it kind of matches the band. So yesterday, with the watch face that I had, it was showing at 9.5 hours, it was showing at 44%. And I'm going back over my notes here. So now that we're at 5:02, and that time was taken at 2:55. So we're over 2 hours. So we're at 11.5 hours. I take this off the charger about 5:20 in the morning. So we're coming up on 12 hours. Let's check the battery life out. Still at 61%. So with this particular watch face, there we go. Once again, when you go to your Apple Watch setting, you can see that you'll see different colors. And there's going to be 2 colors. This is the color I chose. Then we'll get it to kick off and we'll show you. There you go. That's what it looks like when it goes down to 1 nit, if you will. So anyways, I took this off the charger this morning at about 5:18. So we're real close to 12 hours of use, always on display. That's the screen I chose today. So apparently, just through my little unofficial testing here, and it's all depending on what watch face. Now, you know I've been giving you my phone calls I get a day and the text messages. The text messages stay the same as far as the frequency and number of texts I receive. The phone calls were about half what they were yesterday. So yesterday I received 11 phone calls. Today I got about 5. Same amount of talk time, about half of yesterday. And then the text messages yesterday were 34. Actually, the text messages I received today was about, I counted it a while ago, about 36. So anyhow, there you have it. Once again, it all depends on which watch face you use. So there you have it. So at this rate, it would last you, we're at 61% at 12 hours. It would literally last you 24 hours. So I'm sure y'all have had enough of me rambling. I hope this helps you. The Apple Watch Series 10. There you go on the wrist. Pleasantly pleased. Pleasantly pleased. And I had an Apple Watch Series 8, so I knew I would like this, but yes. Hope that helps you on the battery test. We will do a test, and it won't be this long. I promise. Over the portable watch charger, the Apple Watch charger that I just showed you, the 1,000 milliamp, to see how it does on this. So we'll get that out to you here in the next couple of days. I'm going to try to do that on this weekend. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic evening.